afternoon, everyone. Is everybody excited? And I'm looking at my slides and I'm seeing that the best part of the title of my slide is not there. And if you look in the agenda, or that we reprinted, whoops, I'm going too fast already, is the title of this presentation was, Let's Put the Unity in Community. And I wish I could take credit for that wonderful, amazing title, but I have to give props here to my man Ari, who came up with that amazing title, because I found it really, really fit what we're going to talk about today. And so I've been a customer success and experience practitioner for my entire career. I have had nothing but joy, blood, sweat, and tears as well, in building customer-centric cultures in the organizations that I work for. And you're probably wondering, how is she going to talk about? My fear was you're going to wonder are they going to relate to customer success and customer experience being the same, or being a unified experience. But I have a very easy job this afternoon, because this entirety of this conference has been about how we are bridging the gap between these. So I thank Dave for the setup in the organization of the presentations, because everything up until this point has really been about setting up for this. So well done on agenda building. I started at Coveo 4.5 years ago, and I came in to build a customer success program. Coveo was a business that had been around for a long time, and it had been an on-premise solution that was pivoting to the cloud at that time. And they didn't have a customer success group at all, and I had been running my own consulting practice, helping other organizations build their customer success programs, and I came in to Coveo to build this program for them. And what I found and what I knew before going there is that in order for Coveo customers to be successful with their deployments, they needed more than just Coveo implementation services, our customer success programs, or support plans. There needed to be more. And these blue boxes that we see underneath are things that we are all very familiar with. And in fact, I heard Dave yesterday in his 5 points that he raised in the opening ceremony. And as a first-time customer success or CS100 participant, I was thrilled to hear him talk about many of the things that I have called out in these blue boxes below. So for many of you who have never heard of Coveo, and you're going to pick up on my Canadian accent, I'll guarantee it if it hasn't already come through. I talk about processes, and I go out, and I say sorry. So all of those things come with being a Canadian. And Coveo is a Canadian company. We are headquartered in Quebec City in Canada. And what we do is we are a search and AI company. And so what we know is that customers, employees, and partners all expect personalized and relevant experiences. And why? Many of us, probably all of us in this room, are either Netflix subscribers or Amazon Prime members, even the Canadians. And they have taught us about personalized experiences. When you log into Netflix, it recommends a series of next movies that you should watch or shows. And Amazon it creates an experience for you with all of the data points that it knows about you, and it recommends the next product for you. So we've gotten very accustomed to those recommendations. And so what Coveo does is we bring that same experience to your B2B world. What we know is that businesses are waking up to the power of community, finally, right? I've been building communities for a very long time, and every one I've built is better and better and better. And I'm excited to see last week there was, is anybody familiar with the CMX organization? This is a community-based company event similar to this. They had 1,000 people at their event in Redwood Shores last week, 1,000 participants of people talking about community. And managing communities has really largely been, or often referred as, an art that's driven by trial and error with a steady dose of behavioral psychology. But what's changing that is machine learning, artificial intelligence, and the ability to A/B test like we've never been able to do before. And so what I also found super interesting is that there was a customer success leader who was the keynote speaker for that event. So this is happening. This is happening all around us where people are really starting to get the understanding of this. And there's this race to mass personalization. 68% of the firms in a Forrester survey state that delivering personalized experiences is a priority for their organization. But 53% of those lack the right technology to personalize. Now, why this isn't a Coveo presentation, what I'm here to share with you today is how my team has taken the Coveo application and many others and put together to really build and drive that world-class experience for our customers. So, if there is worldwide demand for a more personalized and relevant experience, why isn't it happening? Why aren't we doing this already? Well, the answer really lies in the fact that enterprises are still largely heavily siloed with different focuses, goals, and metrics. And again, this is a theme that we've heard many times in many presentations throughout the last 2 days. We have our commerce focus, where our sales and marketing peers are focused on driving revenue, getting new logos. Our customer-focused teams, which are services, support, success. And then we have our other internal organizations, the colleague focus, their product, the IT groups, all with different technology stacks. If you look at the CRMs, the customer success management platforms, the list goes on and on and on about how many different technologies, each and every one of those technologies having its own set of data. How can we possibly build a personalized experience across all those touch points? So today I'm going to share with you how we believe, or I believe, that customer success and experience together is really what is driving engagement. This is my funnel. You're supposed to laugh. It doesn't look like a funnel because it's not a funnel. It's no longer a funnel, right? This is how we've changed. This is how SaaS has changed our world. And I like John's presentation from earlier this morning and talking about the more mature folks in the audience, which of course I'm one, and I've been in software for 20 years. I've spent my entire life in software. And like my CEO says, we're no longer selling lifetime dancing lessons on the first PO, right? Drive-by sales, I used to call it, like just go quick. So we're not doing that. And if you are doing that, you're in grave danger of being obsolete in a very, very short period of time. So it's gone from a funnel to really gone to an infinity loop. And I'm sure this is a diagram that you've seen many, many times. And really, the idea is that there's 2 phases of this. We have our purchase cycle, and we have our usage cycle. And different parts of the organization are focused on different parts of that cycle, and that's okay, as long as they're all talking together, and as long as all that customer data and touch points are being passed from team to team, to group, to really understand that overall experience that we're trying to create for our customers. At Coveo, when I joined 4.5 years ago as employee number 0 for customer success, I built the program out. And like many of us, I was challenged with funding. How are we going to fund this, was the question. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is simple. You're just going to give me money. Why was this a problem? Well, it's not exactly how it went down. And so I was challenged with, okay, yeah, Jennifer, you can have a few resources and get this thing going. And I started to get it going, and it took off. Imagine helping people, helping sales, right, Bill? Selling doesn't help, but helping sells. And this is a mantra that I've used with my team for many, many years. And so as I continued to scale this and build this, what I knew, what became obvious is that you don't have enough money. So I started to monetize the customer success program. And people are saying, how did you do that? How did you monetize it? The simple answer with monetization of your customer success program is value. People will pay for value. If they're getting value out of the services you will provide, they have no problem in paying you. And that became obvious. And so I monetized that program for our top tier customers. And so I actually monetized it so well over a 3-year period that I became a profitable center. So I had a P&L, and I wasn't there to make money, but I was there to create, to make enough money to hire as many people as I needed. But it still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. It really wasn't going to help me scale. And this is what the whole purpose of this presentation is today, and why you as customer success leaders need to care about putting the unity in community and understanding the difference, or understanding the bridge between the customer experience and the customer success programs. What we use at Coveo to help our customers understand where they're coming from and where they need to go is we've built this Coveo relevancy maturity model. And that relevancy maturity model helps people understand, helps us give us guidance to take those folks from laggards to leaders, from having a negative impact in their business to having a positive impact in their business and a positive ROI. So this has been a very helpful tool for us to help our customers, to help them understand where are they on their journey. Where are they on their journey with us as Coveo? Many start with us down here in the bottom left-hand corner. And they're like, oh God, we're down there on the left. We want to be up in the right. Of course you do, but that doesn't happen overnight. So how do we help you get there? So this is what we have used as the backbone to help us help our customers be more successful with their Coveo deployments. Oh, and I didn't realize this was a build. We're going. So how are we tackling this challenge for scale? Like I talked about, the monetization was good for those top-tier customers, but not every one of our customers is in that space. At the same time, I know that customers want to be able to self-serve. They want to be able to do things on their own. Everyone is doing this, right? Everyone's got a phone in their hand right now doing something with it, right? So we know you want to be able to do things yourself. So how are we tackling this? I created a vision for what the community should be. We're not talking about your grandmother's support portal here, folks. So if your support portal or your community today exists solely to deflect cases, you are like the folks with the drive-by sales. You are at risk of becoming obsolete because your customers want more. They want to have help when they want it, on any device, at any time of the day. They want you to advise them. They want to know where on your maturity model they are and how do they move from step to step. And they want to empower. They want to be empowered. They want to be able to go into their own organizations and show how they've been successful with your tool and how it's helping them help their customers. So we started with a digital platform. And so what we know, as I said, these expectations from customers are continuing to grow. And the number one mistake and ditch that I'm going to share with you that I've seen too many people do when they go to build a community or a program like this, or an experience like this, they think of it as a project. There's my project, okay? I think you say project? Okay, so you get the point. The project, it's not a project, it's a program, right? This is an ongoing, because guess what? The customer's needs and expectations are continuously evolving. They're changing. They're not the same that they were last year, and they won't be the same next year. So if you go in to get funding for your community and you talk about it in terms of a project, you're going to get enough funding to run that specific sprint, that milestone, whatever it is. You're not necessarily going to have what you need to run this as a program overall. And when you do that, and you're no longer having that 1998 support portal, it really requires a change in mindset and a focus on what is the customer trying to do. What do they want to be able to do with your community? What kind of services, what kind of value are you bringing to them in a self-service capacity? How do you get them to come back, right? Okay, great, we do it. We send out an email, come check out our new portal, and they get there and it goes flat. You've lost them, right? It's much more difficult to get them to come back. And so one of the things that I knew, actually, I think Carrie just left, but actually some work I did with Carrie many years ago, we learned about, I had an argument with a guy who I was working with, and he's like, people just come to that support portal to log cases. That's it. I go, absolutely not. They come there to learn. And he's like, nope. So we actually ran a Medallia survey. We had a full-on ethnographic study with Medallia. And guess what? He ate his words. He came to me. He apologized. He's like, I can't believe this. 30% of the traffic is coming there to learn. Who would have guessed? I guessed. I didn't guess. I knew. So, it's a shift in mindset. He's not the only one. You may have leaders who think the same thing. Oh, it's just like the deflect cases. Get them out of the success center. Get them out of the support center, right? It's not about deflecting cases. Customer success is an engagement strategy, not a case deflection tactic. And if I hear people talk about deflecting cases one more time, I'm going to be bald because I'm going to pull out all my hair. And this is something as a company, we sell into this audience, so I hear this all the time. And I'm like, let me get this right. We're talking about how we want to deflect cases, push everything to self-service, and like Julie was talking about just before lunch, marketing and sales have all the money. So they're spending all the money to go get people, and this side of the equation is doing everything they can to push them away. Does that make sense? Doesn't make sense to me. So changing the mindset is really an evolution from moving from being internally focused and feature focused to being able to deliver customer solutions, to getting feedback on developed products, to becoming active listeners and using customer feedback early and often throughout the life cycle of their journey with you. And from making your decision drivers be project plans, schedules, roadmaps, politics, intuition, to moving that to being about customer input, data, and behavior. We have so much data from all of those signals. So when I talk about a community, I want to get us clear and get us straight on what actually I'm meaning by a community. The community, if you think about it, is a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. And for me, that's the sum total of parts as a personalized engagement experience, where there's a knowledge base, a peer-to-peer forums, where I can talk with people like people like me, right? I want to have groups. Why are these conferences and these opportunities so successful? Because we all have the same goals and objectives, are very similar, and we can have a relatable conversation. Well, what if you wanted to take that away and go and continue that conversation in a digital way today? You still need to log your cases, but you also want to have learning paths. How can I move up that maturity model? How can I learn more about the products and solutions that you're trying to help me and my organization do? What about news? What about alerts? What about adoption roadmaps? What about EBRs? What about advocacy asks? What about playbooks? And the list goes on and on and on. But this is what a new community is like. Any Peloton people in the audience? Yay. For those of you who are not familiar with Peloton, they are an athletic brand that sells spin bikes and treadmills. Super exciting. That's not what makes Peloton different. What makes Peloton different is their community. And as an active community guy, I was completely sucked into the Peloton world. And I love my Peloton, and I love the experience that I get as a personalized engagement because it recommends what rides I should do next based on the rides that I've done before. It knows a lot about me. It knows knows my heart rate. It has all my data. And it makes those recommendations based on me. It's a personalized experience for me. So as we set out to do this at Coveo and create this personalized digital experience, we wanted to make our sites relevant. We wanted to have Coveo as part of the showcase for this because, this is what we sell to customers. We wanted to be visually on brand. Many communities I've built over the past, we were kind of like this little afterthought that was stuck over here. No budgeting for funding on marketing resources, branding. And so we looked like it didn't belong. One of these things is not like the other. Make sure that you have that. So that was a big commitment for us. And oftentimes where this comes is because these are silos in the organization that are often being built by some other team without really considering or talking to you all or anyone else in your organization for that matter. And those experiences have to be reflective of the customer's journey, providing what they need, when they need it, and what they need next. So for us, that looked like a single sign-on. How many of you have like passwords after passwords after passwords today? Well, we didn't want to create another experience for our customer and another set of username and passwords for them to do. So we created a simple experience. Our customers log into Coveo platform using one of the third-party identity management tools, Microsoft, Salesforce, or Google. Why would I go and create a separate login for our community? No, I want to make a seamless experience. This is how I know I'm going to get them back. Make it easy. make it relevant. So we launched the Coveo Connect community in June of this year. And this is an AI-powered, personalized experience as it understands me as I log in. It understands my role. It understands who I am. And therefore, it tailors the experience to me, for me, as a customer. So we do this for all customer and partner onboarding. And this is how we are scaling our business, because it's no longer just about sending those automated emails out of your Marketo, your HubSpot, whatever it may be. It's about getting them to that spot, getting them to the community where they also can get recommendations and learn about what to do next. And so it's all there in the same spot. You can get them to come back if they need to log a case, if they need to take a course, they want to learn about the next product release that's coming out. All of those things are there, and it's personalized to them as a user. We also launched Coveo Academy, which is our online learning management system, again, to help us really drive those education. Education is key to the success of your customer success program. As your customers know more about your products and your services, but also those solutions. Remember those blue boxes that I showed on the very first slide? Those are things that have nothing to do with our product. Yet our customers are turning to us and asking us for best practices, benchmarking, advice, thought leadership on all of those elements. That also has to be part of our educational journey, not just about our product. And our communication strategy, you really need to think of this as a go-to-market. So I already talked about it being a program, not a project. And it really has to be thought of as this is a product that I am taking to market. What do you do with this? I always tell people, your community is not Disneyland. You don't build it and they will come. It's not going to work that way. You have to have reason for them to come. There has to be value. They have to be able to do that. You have to involve them in the process. So when we set out to do this, we set up meetings with customers where and employees and partners, and we sat down and had individual meetings with them, asking them about what did you want to be, what type of features and services do you want to be able to do on your own? What will be in this for you? And so then we set to do that, and we built the project plan around that. And so this was super important for us as our brand was really being reflected here as well. So I'm often asked, what is that technology stack look like? What are all the pieces that are playing from all those different products and all those different groups across the different silos of your organization? So obviously we have Coveo playing a part in here, but we also have Bolstra and SkillJar and the Salesforce Community Cloud and Marketo and the Google Marketing Platform and Sitecore and probably many others that I don't even have on this list. So how do we know if this is working? What do the measures of success look like for us? So our engagement was number one. I wanted to drive more new users, and I wanted to make sure they were coming back. I wanted them to have success. I wanted there to be success for them self-service. It was a little value if there was nothing, if they weren't being able to solve the problem themselves and they still had to reach out to their customer success manager or call support. So we really wanted to make sure that we were having an increase in that online service resolution. Time to value. First time to value is such an important metric for us as customer success leaders. How was I measuring? Were they getting to that first time to value measure quickly? How are they moving along our Coveo relevancy maturity model? Were we helping them get there? And then finally, the advocacy. Were we seeing any difference in our customer success, customer satisfaction scores or our expansion? Well, the answer is yes. So far, remember this has been only live for about a quarter now, so my data points are fairly slim at this particular point. Nonetheless, it's all trending in the direction that we want. So we've got a 16% increase in our community users, which I think is fantastic. We've got 195 questions that have been posed by peers in the community and answered by peers in the community, which is super exciting because they want to be able to not rely on us solely as the folks that are giving the answers. And then finally, the most proud one is obviously the 12% increase in NPS. And anybody that runs an NPS program or a voice of the customer program knows that it is no small feat to move in this kind of a direction. So some of the lessons learned, I take a phased approach to this, right? You do not go out with a big bang theory. It puts too much pressure and too much risk on the organization. Learn and iterate. And if you start like this without a big bang approach and you have a learn and iterate methodology, then you're more likely to adopt that whole program notion rather than this just being about a project. Don't underestimate the learning curve. You've got new technology that's probably going to have to be deployed. You've got new people that are going to have to learn that internally, externally, right? Make that as easy as possible. I talked a lot about already the importance of your go-to-market plan and your go-to-market messaging. So over-communicate. I can't stress this enough. You need to prioritize the messages and understand, use different ways. It's not all about email. And say things differently. Say it in a lot of different ways. Think beyond the search box. What else can search do? How can search help me use recommendations and machine learning and AI to power that? And then finally, marketing is an imperative. You'd never take a product, one of your commercial products to market without a marketing plan. This should be no different. There really needs to be a plan to do that. So what can you do as customer success leaders, and what can you take away from today's session? Pick a data point. Pick something in your playbook, or pick something in your journey, and journey map it. So it was great that Carrie was ahead of me also this afternoon or this morning and talked a lot about journey mapping. And so you can do that. And then evaluate the self-solvability of your own community, right? What are customers able to do there on their own? And so just give a self-assessment of your own community, because this is what your customers want, for sure, and this is what will help you scale. Thank you very much. I think there's like 1 minute, 30 seconds if there's questions. I can take 1 minute and 30 seconds worth of questions. Yes.
I'm building a community from scratch right now.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out how to get folks to actually go in there and ask questions. So I've been submitting questions under fictitious names.
Okay.
It's not scalable, of course.
Sure.
Beyond, tapping marketing resources, I've, tried to get everybody pumped and excited about it. And when I'm on site, they seem excited about it.
Yeah.
But then when I leave, it's like they forget about it.
Right.
So what is the one thing I should do that would probably get some movement on it?
You're not going to like my answer, because there is no one thing that you can do that's going to do this. Repetitiveness, but making sure there's value. And so I would be a little leery about posting them under fictitious names. Just use your own name. Host them as the administrator. If you have some customers that you have good, solid relationships with, get them in there posting. But their most important piece, rather than that, is their value. Is there value in what they're asking? Is this going to help somebody? Is this going to do something that's going to help someone go from here to here, right? Making sure that there's value in what they're receiving, and when you do that, they will come back. Yeah.
So for someone who's looking at kind of starting this, what do you recommend about maybe offering customers like gifts to kind of encourage them to participate?
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with incentives to get things going. You've got to get creative. There's lots of different ways to do that. I think the Starbucks gift cards, the Amazon gift cards are getting a little old because they're being overused too many times. But get creative with this. Do something out of the box. This is the guy right here, Ari Hoffman, to talk to. He's got incredible ideas on just using creative ways to get people engaged in doing things differently. I'm a big fan of video. I think video, gamification, those types of things are really exciting and great ways to drive community users and getting it back. And this will also work for you, Miranda. Oh. All right, thank you very much. I'll be here if anybody has any other questions.